All right, can everybody see? I don't think you can. Yeah, you can. Okay. All right, so, hell yeah, Unity. Okay. All right. Okay. We have a big problem in this scene, which won't become evident until you play test your build. And this is, who am I looking at? This is Thomas or Joseph? When I imported the package, I pulled in Thomas. Okay. So Thomas, what you probably didn't do is play test your build. Unless you did and you were like, good enough, and that might have been fine too. See, the thing is you have 2 cameras in your scene, meaning when you do a build for this, you're gonna lose, I think, what is it, Y-axis, up and down ability on your character controller. Now, I know that bug because it happens all the time. So right now we have a problem that you have 2 cameras in here. Unity is gonna bug out when you do a build and you play test it. So I'm guessing you haven't play tested. I'm just guessing. Woo, sorry everybody, I dropped my thingy. If you had play tested it and you get a bug like that and you don't know what to do, reach out to me please and ask, and then I could possibly help you troubleshoot. Most of the bugs you'll run across I probably know the answers to, and a whole lot more of them I won't, and we figure out a hacky workaround solution for them. Also, I'm noticing you've got a build problem. You haven't built your lighting in here, but that could just be from when I imported your stuff. I lost lighting data. It might be different on your build. And I see a scene in here. I see some rooms. I definitely want to explore them. But I will say that I have no affordances. There's nothing in here that's guiding me as a player to tell me where I should be going first. You could probably get several playtests to see if people naturally go one way or another, but for the scope of the assignment, you won't have a lot of time for that. So we have a very linear path here, and just get in, it opens up. I have no affordances telling me where to go otherwise. Now, for the grading on this assignment, I think I said you needed to have at least an explicit affordance. That could be in like a particle saying, or an animation saying, look at me, look at me. Something like that would work. But for an A, you would need an additional either cultural or defined affordance. Inferred is, I mean, it's allowed, but very unlikely to be possible. So I don't have any affordances here. You do have a technical problem with having an additional camera here. Just delete it. You don't need it. See, first-person controller has a camera. Don't have 2 cameras unless you're disabling one and calling on it later in scripting or whatever. And I also noticed that you have done a terrible job naming your things in here. Everything is a cube, meaning you probably do have a room that's designated for Mr. MacGuffin or Dr. MacGuffin. You probably do have a room in here for the knowledge, but I wouldn't know what that is as a teammate, as a member of your dev team trying to help you like work on this scene. Okay, so you're gonna want to go in here and either tell me what you have here for Dr. MacGuffin and the knowledge for the actual assignment, or add it if it's not in here already, and that's why these aren't labeled. But you need to label these. How to label them if you're unsure. In the inspector in any one of these. So look at this. What you can do here, I'm gonna come over here. Select all of this. Is that all of it? Yeah, sure is. Stairs. Look at that, it names all of them too. And if you're real slick, you can create an empty game object, name it stairs. Stairs, naming it stairs. I like it. I'm gonna call it stairs parent or parent or mom. That's fine. I got stairs parent. And then all of the stairs. Ooh, you know what I gotta do? This parent. This is really important. Make sure you zero out so that way I'm gonna drag this into the stairs parent. There we go. That way the parent is at 0, 0, 0. And if it moves around, like whatever, you could just be like, look, everything goes back to exactly where it needs to be. So organize your content in here. Tell me what room is the knowledge in, or is Mr. MacGuffin in, or whatever, like however you plan on doing it. All right, I'm also gonna pull up what the assignment asked for a grade. Just to make sure that we check box everything before you go into part 3. So part 3 really depends on you solving all the issues with part 2 in this assignment, because if you don't resolve that, all of that work for part 3 will be wasted. So we want to make sure we address everything for this. Okay. Let's see. Must have materials, lighting, animation, particles, and a skybox. And I have none of those right now. We have the default material, the default skybox, no animations, no particles, no lighting. This is also supposed to be an interior scene, and this feels a little bit kind of like a mouse like maze where it's really open. So you should put in a ceiling and then light the interior of this. And like there is information in here, but I can't see. Use lighting to guide the player. That's part of the affordances piece of this assignment. So make sure that you are dealing with that. What we're looking for is materials, lighting, animation, and particles. What kind of building is this? I should be able to know at least that much with some pretty simple things. Right now it's just a room with rooms. It's a good start, but you're gonna have to give me some context with story. To get an A, you need an affordance other than explicit, and you need to show me a story. And so far that's not here, but it's on its way. I'd say it's a good start. Okay, we will go to a new scene. Is everybody still able to see the Unity scene while I'm sharing? Yep, okay, cool. Thank you, Lisa. Thank you, Paige. Thank you, Newton. I'm sure you probably nodded or something. Okay, so I'm deleting everything that was in that previous project. Yes, please. Okay, cancel. Yeah, that's another thing. Don't name your scenes sample scene. Sample scene is the first thing that Unity creates for you. Name your scene something else. Like this should not be sample scene. We should name it save as scene instead of sample scene. Be like TIG part 2 underscore final. I don't know, whatever you want it to be. There you go. And then that is what you can export for your package. Don't give me sample scene, because even in an empty game project, Unity gives me a sample scene already, and we're starting to stomp on files. So don't do that. Delete that. Delete it. File new. Now I will delete all of you. Don't need it. Woo. Yes, you can. Just do as I say. So if you take a hammer to Unity, she'll listen to you. All right. Let's do import custom package. I have on my desktop, my desktopy. Packages. Okay, Joseph. Yes, please. Ooh, dark, moody sky. I already like what I'm seeing. I haven't even seen it yet. I'm into it. Okay, so let's find some scenes. All right, okay. Again, we have a main camera here, in here twice. Get rid of that. And ooh, see some texture in here. It looks really ugly, y'all, because the lighting was off. And let's just make sure that it is auto-generated. Let's see if I can play it as is. It might need to build lighting though. Yeah, it needs to finish building its lighting. And this is where it's really handy for me to have that build, because the lighting should already be built in it. Dang, this is moody though. Nice job on that. Whew. Give it a sec. This tells me it's got what is that, an hour, 40 minutes left. Okay, I'll turn the lighting off while it's still chooching. And I'll walk through here without lighting, and that is okay. Or no, I won't. No, I will not. Okay. Interesting choice of texture files, but I mean, you know, I'm into it. I like weird and different. All right, we've got light floor object. Okay. Let's see, I have a MacGuffin object. There's Mr. MacGuffin. Cylinder works for me. Nice job. Do we have the knowledge? Is the knowledge? Yeah. Yeah, you do. I like it. Very good. Very good. Okay, you are well on your way with this. I'm having a hard time seeing story, but it's not that you haven't clearly tried. Like there's something going on here. This feels a little like either a dungeon or a jail cell. If that's what you're going for, give me more content that suggests that. Put keys on the wall, put more bars up, if that's what you're making. If this is just sort of placeholder while you figure out what that is, okay. But I will definitely need some things in here to give me a little context about what kind of rooms we're going into. Another reason for that is because we're not exactly implementing interior design knowledge here, nor would I expect you to. So what that means is that every room that is a square looks like a square, and it's hard to see the difference from room to room. So if you put a table in one room, a chair in another, and a bookshelf in another, I have something to separate what those rooms are for my mind, right? Okay, so I'm actually worried about Unity bogging down my stream a little bit. Am I laggy at all? I think I saw some lag and I was worried. Just a bit. Okay. Well, all right. Well, I'm not going to worry too much about that, but moving on with this, Joseph, this is really strong start. What you'll want, you can move on to the next part, just address some of the other things I had mentioned about story, and you'll want to put in an affordance, either an explicit one for a C, but either a defined or a cultural one for an A. Okay, let's go ahead and get out of here. I think that is all I have in Unity that I can do in packages. Let me go to a new scene. I'm going to delete all of this. Work though, very good. It's thinking. Okay. Let me look at some builds that we can get through. I want to be able to see everybody's work. No, it's coming through fine for me. Okay. Take reviews. We have, Lisa, I couldn't get your build to work. Joseph, you're missing a file in it. I think you have a misnamed, maybe it's a misnamed folder in here. You've got Joseph Tig on as part 2 data and then build_exe, and that's missing its folder. I'm gonna actually just try renaming it really quick. See if that solves it. _build. Let's just try it. Okay, that actually solved it. So I managed to fix your build, dude. Okay. This is very dark. Oh, that's better. Okay, so my first issue here is that you started me off facing the wall. Any reason for that? Or is it just like where you put it and you didn't think about it? Very first thing I see is going to set an impression for me as a player. And my first impression was like, well, this is dark, I could barely see, and kind of ugly. But if I turn around, oh, that's nice. My initial reaction would have been, oh, that's nice. And there's something called in psychology, and it is an important part of design, called confirmation bias. Meaning once I've already made up my mind about something, it is very, very difficult to change my opinion when it's much, much easier to establish a new one for me that I hadn't had prior. So the first shot that I see is a very important one. Don't put me facing a wall unless you are very specifically sending a message to me, which is very possible. Maybe you put me in a wall because the lore here is the Blair Witch put me there and I'm supposed to start off on my back leg. That makes sense, but I'm not getting that sense here. This just kind of felt like, I don't know, I guess this is where you are right now. So think about that. And yeah, I can't look up or down. That may not be a big issue for your current. Yeah, it is an issue because if I need to jump, I can't look down to jump and then I fell through the world. Okay, so that is a technical bug that you need to fix. Make sure you remove that second camera. And I'm gonna try one more time to get through because you do need more input, I think. And I can't look up or down, so I'm just gonna have to figure out as much as I can with it. So sorry about that, but let's do it. I can close that out now. Sorry guys, I have a ton of things open and I'm trying to find everybody's stuff. Okay. Yeah. Ooh. Hey, maybe you did have an affordance in here for me. Maybe. Cool. Nice. That animation pulls me right in, by the way. I want to go right to it. You have a particle system in here, but what is that supposed to be? So you can do better with some of this. You're doing the minimum. And that makes me sad. But you did it. You put it in there. Particle systems that have like no purpose other than, well, because you said I had to. It's a totally missed opportunity. I think this is probably MacGuffin, right? Cool. By the way, I should not be able to get to him, but I'm not worried about that at this stage, just because you know, you've got time to resolve that. This is a blocking. When you do like a particle system like this that has nothing, it's more distracting than it is in uplifting or empowering either your message, your story, or your mood. It's very fast. I'm not sure what it's supposed to be, but if you are like, hey, look at this room, making a smaller particle that's like putting a sparkle on the item, like old Resident Evils used to do, or maybe giving me dust that floats around and make it behave as such. But this is, you just put in a flat particle system and did very little to change it. So rework that for a better grade. And okay, very nice though. This is a strong start. You are okay to keep going on the next portion of the assignment for part 3. Hey, I thought I just canceled you. Close. Okay, let's see if I can do another build. Yeah. That was just, yeah, Lisa, I couldn't do it. If you resubmit a build right now, Lisa, I can go re-download it and give it a try. Give me a heads up when you have, if you're going to. All right, Newton, you're next. If I recall, I wasn't able to get into your project, Newton, with a package, just the build. And I'm gonna restart this so that you can see me drop in. Okay, nice job. I don't know if this is MacGuffin or not, or a doctor or something, but this feels like a hospital bed maybe, and this is kind of creeping me out a little bit in a very good way. Okay, so what you have here is something called Z-fighting. That happens when polygons are trying to render at the same time that they're taking up the same space. A camera has to sort the order in which they render a polygon, and when polygons are taking up the same space at the same time, they're fighting. It's like, we don't know what to render first, so we'll take turns rendering it, and that gives us this flicker. So we don't want that. How to resolve that? You could get in there and rotate flooring or whatever, or you could just make it all one flat floor to do it, or you could just offset it and give me a step down, and I would be none the wiser. Can I submit if for a Mac it won't run for, no, it won't run for me. If you submit a build for a Mac, I won't be able to read it. But if you could give me a package, and like, this is an issue that, like, because you're working on a Mac and we can't resolve it, there are ways to solve it, but it's going to take a little bit more sit down. You can give me the package of the scene, at least, so that I can still play it and get some feedback to you. I think I had a scene from you instead of a package, and I wasn't able to import it. Okay, I'm sorry, back to you, Newton. I want to go this way. This is feeling pretty intuitive so far because it's pretty linear. And now I've got a fork and it opens up, but it's not really a fork. It's still linear, which is fine. Good. See. So you might notice that, like, your lighting up there, that's for your nice animated light, by the way. I really like that. I think the cube up there is supposed to be a light. So I need to re-upload the scene package. Yes, you do, Newton, you do. You have to give me the scene as a package so that I can get into your scene and actually take a look at it. Now, right now I'm seeing your cube that looks like a light. What you can do is you could set, I can't tell if it's in the lighting settings or if it's in the render settings of the cube, but you could just turn off cast shadow, and your lighting won't cast a shadow anymore, and it'll just be a light, like an emissive illuminated light. And if I were you, I might actually turn up the power on that a little bit, or at least the visual of the emissive, just because it just looks like a white cube that's not lit, as opposed to a gray cube that's lit a little bit. You know what I mean? Okay. It's neat. It's a polished thing. Ooh, nice sky. Very ominous and weird. I think what would be cool is if another polished item is if you could give it like some sort of skyline that makes it feel outside, like mountains or buildings or trees or something. I don't know. You don't have to do that for a grade. I just think it's cool. You're guiding me with light, and I'm gonna call that a defined affordance. You've created a visual vocabulary for me, probably not intending to, but I'm finding that oh my gosh, that's nice. I want to keep following the lighting, but this is also intriguing. Very good. Very good. You've naturally guided me there. I like it. It was also pretty linear, but in this case, I'm not minding that so much, mainly because it doesn't feel linear while it is. What you could probably do to break up some of that is give me a door I can't open earlier, or maybe you do that eventually, I don't know. So that it's like okay, I got a thing back there I've got to go deal with, probably where MacGuffin is or something. That way when I get the knowledge I can come back. Ooh, you changed the lighting up. That puts me, what does that mean? Does that mean something different? It feels different. Nice. Is this the knowledge? This feels like knowledge. Okay, good job. You didn't have to say it, and that's what it felt like. Okay, and then eventually that will get me to MacGuffin's room. And this, I imagine maybe this is MacGuffin. Okay, put MacGuffin in like a jail or a room where I can't get to him, but let me know that he's in there. And that way I know when I get to the knowledge, it opens up MacGuffin's room. But really excellent job. You are well on your way to part 3. Let's see. I do want to see your project a little bit in more depth, but you have color, texture, lighting. MacGuffin, the knowledge is here. Spawn and MacGuffin, though, sharing the same space concerns me, because there's nothing about this that says MacGuffin is separated from me until I get the knowledge. Like, the knowledge is essentially the trigger, right? We're going to say knowledge false at the start, therefore MacGuffin false. MacGuffin true when knowledge true. And once I get the knowledge, then I get MacGuffin. So you're well on your way, though. Nice job. Well, nice job. Okay, let's see here. Next. Let's see. That was Newton. Sean Miles. Let's do Sean's next. Sorry, guys, we're getting through it. We got to get through all of them, though. We're going to start this. And all right, I see 2 problems, 3 problems. 1, this is an exterior scene. The assignment is for an interior scene, specifically with rooms and a story that you can tell. Well, you do tell story here. You're telling one that's not the other parameters of the assignment. So you're going to have to make it interior. That's one problem. 2, it is way overscoped. It is huge so far. And I have a feeling that that's because you're working with an exterior space. Exterior space, when you're developing a level, especially early on, they are so much smaller when you zoom out. When you're working in a scene, not as the player in the first person view, you're seeing everything from like a God view. And the problem with that is that you lose very quickly context for how far everything is. Second or third, that looks the same as that, and the only difference is the lighting in here, which I would lose if it was interior. So I don't quite know where I'm supposed to go. And I notice you have a very literal golden path in here. And that says to me that there's a misunderstanding of what golden path means. And I'll be fair, I don't think that I explicitly said what that is in any of my lectures, though I think it was alluded to in some of the talks I had you watch. So let's talk a little bit about what a golden path is. When you are making a game or playing a game, you've probably heard of something called the critical path. Now, the critical path is start to finish. It's what speedrunners can typically do. Sometimes they'll even find an exploit of critical path where you like get through 30 hours of gameplay in 2 hours because you just cut out like 4 quests or some shit like that, right? Critical path is I go through all of the steps to get from start to finish to the end. If you've ever played Gone Home, and I imagine somebody here at least has, you could play the golden path. It'll take you probably about an hour and a half. You could play the critical path in like 5 to 10 minutes, maybe 15. You just knew exactly where to go to end it. Golden path is when that is the path that the player takes as you designed for them. So golden path and critical path, though are related, are not the same. Critical path is how to technically get there from start to finish. Golden path is how to go through all of the experiences that was intended for the player. And then oftentimes there's sort of like offshoots off of the golden path that are not required, but fun Easter eggs, like quests that are optional quests, secrets, and literal Easter eggs sometimes. Okay, I can't look at the actual project. Yeah, this is kind of what I mean when I'm mentioning before about how working with exterior spaces for the first time is the scale. A sense of scale gets kind of all messed up. You're placing things as you would as you're like kind of playing with blocks and dolls, but you're not putting yourself in the player's shoes. This door is so tiny. Look at that. It's like I am taller than the door, and the doorknobs are really low to the ground for some reason. Maybe you have a different story here that like there's little dwarfs or smurfs or something around here. That's okay, neat. I found a thing. All right. That like live here and you don't actually live here. Oh, okay. What's happening? Oh my God. Okay. Give me stuff to do, which I really like. You're playing around with platforms, but that gap is a little weird. But okay, so these are chimneys, and I can climb on top of them. And you gave me a literal golden path, but it's still really unclear which way to go. So you're playing around with things for an explicit affordance that are not quite there, and I think it was unintentional in the sense that you gave me a little golden path, but I think if I follow it exactly, I'm not really going to where I need to go. But I would have a better idea, I think, if I could look at the package of your scene to to see where you have MacGuffin and where my spawn is, which is Dr. or Professor Tig Honest. And then, oh my gosh. Okay, I like the color. And then I think I'm looking for also the knowledge. I don't know where to go for the knowledge. So while this is kind of cool looking and you give me some fun stuff to play around with in here, I am very lost. This feels like a sandbox. And things that will resolve this: scoping way down on the map, making that interior space. I really like the mood. In fact, I would encourage you to stay on this sunny, cheery, bright mood and then do that interior. You can do that with sky lights and windows so that I can still feel the exterior, but you're guiding me in an interior space. And that will really help you scope down the direction that you need your player to go. While I don't want it to be linear, because that means I'm not making any choices, you do need to kind of bring me down to a direction I can follow. Like, hold my hand for a little while until you can get this fun. Because right now it's way too big, way too open, and very confusing about where I'm supposed to go. Okay. All right, so I already reviewed your level from play, but I haven't actually taken a look at the script, so that's what I'm going to go ahead and do. All right, Sean, you're who's ones I'm looking up. So we're import custom package. Just got it from you. Download. There we go. Let it think for a second. That's a big package you got in here, dude. How much do you have? Turquoise, smooth white. Okay. Geffen material. Okay. Well. Okay. It's a lot of stuff. I'm a little concerned with how many things you have in here. Shouldn't need that many, but I do know that these scenes. What are you doing with Speed Tree? Did you use Speed Tree for this? Vehicles? What? Why do you have all of this stuff in here? Okay, so I think I'd like to see what you're exporting for your package, because to me it seems like you're exporting pretty much your whole project, and that's a problem. Like, that's actually kind of like sidestepping a molehill to just jump off of a cliff. The point of the packages are to only give me the files that you're being used in your project, or in this case, like your scene. And so, like, you have a lot of files in here that you can't, or you really shouldn't be using for your scene, that you're giving me anyway. Like, I got the whole standard assets pack. I am very confused. So if I look at your scene, and you've got, okay, barrier, oh, nice, okay. Cool. Path lighting, okay. I'm going to right-click your scene, and I'm going to export package. And yeah, you've got a lot of stuff in here. Why? Why do you have the script? Okay, I'm actually concerned that maybe you opened up a scene from something else and just used it and then replaced your work with it. And that's another problem. You shouldn't be doing that. You should be starting with an empty scene and only putting in what you need and what you're using. There's no way that you would need. Did you use? Wait. Okay, yeah, that's okay. But why is Speed Tree in here? Okay, knowledge. The knowledge light. Okay, so you have the objects in here. That's good. I couldn't tell from before. These boxes. Interior rooms. Okay. Mm. What are you? Climb up section? Parkour? Okay, okay. Cool. Alright, where's your knowledge? Knowledge 1 and 2. Whoa. Okay, it sounds a little bit like you've sort of misunderstood some of the assignment. You need to have one knowledge that will open up the door to Mr. or Dr. MacGuffin. So let's look for MacGuffin. Dr. MacGuffin. He's here. Okay. Okay, so you do have a Dr. MacGuffin, and I go to the knowledge to get to him. Problem is that I have no idea where he is, what to do, or how to get to him. And I think that the problem that I had mentioned before when I played it, that still holds true. I'm glad that it's in here. That's good. That you've definitely started to like block out like what you need to have. We need to have Dr. MacGuffin. You need to have the knowledge, and then you need to guide me through a path to get to them. And you need to show me that I'm looking for Dr. MacGuffin, and then I need the knowledge to get to him. And how you choose to share that with me. Right now, your scene does not communicate any of that with me right now. You have it in here, which is good, but I think part of the problem is that you're working with an open world space. And I had mentioned that before. You need to rework your map. I gave you feedback from part 1 of this assignment, and it doesn't look like you actually addressed any of the issues that I mentioned, or maybe you started to, and like the solution wasn't working. I'm not sure. So if you haven't addressed the feedback that I gave you from part 1, definitely do that. If you did, and this is what you came up with, we should sit down and meet some more and actually work out where the disconnect is and why we're struggling with like creating that path for your player. Now, I noticed that you did create like a literal golden path in here, which I think is fine. I think you can do that, but it's the straight lines. That's... Yeah, where's MacGuffin is in this one, right? And so, like, even still, if you were using the golden path as a metaphor or as, like, a representative of the metaphor of the golden path, it's also not really very communicative because, like, you start on the path and then I guess it's trying to tell you to go left or right. I didn't get it. I didn't get that at all. And then where do you go after you get the knowledge? Like, there's no guidance here. So I think if you work on the scene at this level all the time, you're losing a lot of context for what your player is going through, right? So get in there and play test your level more, a lot more. When you make a change, go in and play it, and then make a change and then play it again. Don't just put it all in here for the assignment and then play it and be like, well, that did it, that worked, because it's missing so much. But I like a lot the tone and the theme to it and the feel of it. I really like it. I think you can even play around with some of those themes. We can even play around with it being exterior if you were going to enclose me in a garden space. This is the size of like a city block. That is way too big for your player at this point. I don't even know where to go or what to do. And you could use an explicit affordance to direct me there. It would be very basic design, like 1, 2, 3, or go here, then there, an arrow. I don't know. See if that works. But right now, I can't find. It lacks the discoverability part of that. I can't find what you're trying to show me, right? So that's the part that needs addressing. Okay. But I'm glad that you had these things here, and I'm glad you were able to submit a package so I could take a look at it. I really need to talk to you, though, I think, about how you're moving forward on these projects, because it looks to me like you were pulling in larger scenes and then gutting them and maybe putting in your stuff in there, and you've got scripts in here you shouldn't need. I'm not sure why you've got a vehicle in here and why the controller has that. Yeah, it's very strange to me. So I'm very, very curious how you moved forward with this, why Speed Tree is even connected to this. I have a feeling maybe you used like a sample script or I mean a sample scene or something. I don't know. Anyway, okay. So you're giving me huge packages that don't need to be this big, and I'd like to figure out why that's happening. Okay. Environments where you're working with other people. You do that, they're like, you're fired.
Oh my God.
You know, you're not. Oh dang! What is this? Oh, okay. All right, I'm hitting start. Man, am I excited. Okay, first thing I'm doing is making this maximize on play. All right. Oh shit, this is cool. Nice. Whoa. This is a very ash feel to it. Did you mean for that? Or snow?
Yeah,
Okay.
depressing.
It is. Ooh, that's cool. It feels foggy. You can add fog to this. Okay, well, all right. Before I lose my mind, I'm going to look at your art here. Wow. Are you struggling at all with performance with these high polys?
No, I really haven't. So what I did is I built them in ZBrush, and then I just decimated them down a bunch, and
Okay.
then I think I left them at 3,000 points before I exported them into Unity, which I think gave me like 7,000 tris, something like that.
Okay.
It could definitely get lower, but.
Oh, wow. Okay. This is interesting. Very interesting and abstract. I really love it. I kind of don't want you to change too much, like by giving it a bunch. Because before I was very like, add context. What kind of building am I in? Well, I would like to see some more of that, but I like the abstract. I love this. Very cool. It's not linear. You could play around with these textures.
Yeah, that was some, quick photoshopping.
Yeah. You can play around with it. Having some fun here. Okay. I am starting to feel a little like a rat in a maze. Don't know where the knowledge is. That's okay. You can. I don't know. Is this knowledge or is this MacGuffin or is this somebody else?
No, this is the final point. So the knowledge was the first person that I believe is Pink. He had a box over his head saying like, my thing was like, the knowledge is that you need help, right?
Oh, I love it.
And then the MacGuffin was that the help is that you need to connect out to somebody. Like you can't deal with all your shit always on your own. Pardon me.
I see.
That was incorrect of me. So that's the MacGuffin there.
Okay.
And that part I'm worried because it's pretty linear. It's like knowledge and then MacGuffin, like blah, blah.
Okay. There's something we can work with here. So we've got here, this is your phase 1, phase 2. Okay, what I think might be interesting is if you're definitely here, give me a window to MacGuffin, to your MacGuffin of this by contrast. Maybe if I like walked in right here and I saw through the window like that guy, or maybe over here I saw him, where this was still in my foreground or in my current state. But like I like the idea of you using a MacGuffin in this manner as kind of a weenie. Do you remember that talk?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Good. Yeah. If you could let me get like see MacGuffin or see that there's a way to MacGuffin, but I can't get to it until I go back to receive knowledge or friendship in this case for your metaphor here. I really like how you're painting this. You've got dry, drab, and then there's a little bit more color, and then it's excellent. Yeah, I like that a lot. I like the 3 phases of mood. Let's see.
Yeah, and then the dude at the end, like kind of all the animation is just kind of like a finish point, just being like, great, you did it.
Yeah, it's good. I am struggling a little bit with affordances, and the way that we can get through it here is because it is pretty linear and there's like sort of no wrong way to go. That's actually a pretty good thing because you can guide me with cultural and defined affordances with the language you're starting to establish here. Like you have, clearly this means happy town, and this is better than before town, right?
Mm-hmm.
You've got, what I might like to see is maybe some transition from one to the other. Maybe if this is one room and then you've got, there's this room that you want to go into, maybe you show me windows, but you can't. And you can't until you finish what you need to do over here. And then you can come back through here. There's one way to go about it. You can play around with that map how you want to do it. But I think you're going to have to give me some foreshadowing of some kind otherwise.
Okay. That makes sense.
Yeah, I like it. I like your gradient. Very fun. Okay, so do you really want to really quick, want to know how to do fog?
Yes, please. I would love that.
Okay. Okay, so you know how you've got the lighting tab here?
Mm-hmm.
Scroll on down, click fog. And then, let's see, we'll give it a silly value like 10. Generate linear. Are you doing it? Game. No, do not. Are you showing everything that I want you to show? Fog. Let's do a silly color just so that I can see it. There, it's okay. So it's working. If we make it like a bright color, you can tell that it's working. Oh, dang. What if I do 0.3? 0.03. Okay.
Oh,
now
cool.
Let's bring it back to another color. Now if you're going for sadness, discomfort, I think gray is lack of color. Blue is a good one. Greens give a sense of illness or toxicity.
Right.
So you can maybe play around with some of that. But you've got a bit of a purple color in the background, meaning yellows, but that might bring it to brightness. Or like a dirt, like a dust. Yeah, black is fun because it makes it feel like you're in constant blackness. And you can play around with how far the fog, like its fall off is. Yeah, we'll do that. What if it's 0.5?
And then that will create it so that the fog isn't covering the entire map, correct?
No, the fog is only going to work where there are meshes in front of it. You'll notice that it doesn't do anything on the skybox. So if you were to put, let's see here, oops a daisy, that's not what I meant to do. Stop that. I need this. If I were to take all the floors, nice job on your labels, by the way.
Oh yeah, I would have gotten in trouble in Liz's classes if I hadn't.
Yep. I bet I can find all the floors. And then we will just do a -1. Oh wait, those values are different all over the place. Shoot. Add a negative to it. Okay, why? There we go. No, they're still all over. Okay, well, what you can do is you can just kind of invert your floors. And the reason I was suggesting even doing something like that for this is so that you can get the fog to work all over. And we'll see what I mean. You'll see what I mean. So see, the fog is now kind of the whole building until there's a skybox. And now there's no fog. Now the fog is going to exist in your whole building. What you could do is you probably want it to go away in a certain room.
Well, I guess that would be an instance of using triggers then, correct?
Yes, it would. I've never set up a trigger for a fog except for when I would activate a new scene that would import the scene, and then like the lighting in that scene would be very different because the fog is a scene setting. for the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
And you know how you have objects in your scene here, right? Well, you can have multiple scenes in loaded in at once.
Okay.
You could do that. You could play around with it conceptually, but that is a polish thing. I wouldn't worry about that too fiercely. Okay. Yeah. Okay. But fog is fun. That was my point. Fog is a good time.
Start for like doing a block out though.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cool. You've got a great start here. I would like to see a little bit more affordance work. It'll make it stronger. I like your particle system. If you were, let's see. There's a few ways you could go about this. I mean, you can start brainstorming lots of ways. I had even thrown out a few when I was like, maybe your MacGuffin can be a bit of a weenie. You can have a big arrow pointing down, this is where you're trying to go or whatever. That's very explicit. It's not very creative, but it is something you could do. Let's see. I really like the sections. And I want you to keep playing with this. This is cool.
I wonder if I could build in like an additional kind of room being like more happening, more like of a light show coming out of it.
Possibly, but like right now the trick is that it's so linear that if you just go through it in order, you'll get to the end. The problem is that what it doesn't communicate to me is that MacGuffin is the place I want to go. I can't get there, and I need to find the knowledge to get it first. Like that is not being discovered by me as the player right now.
Right.
That's the intention.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. Okay. But very, very nice work. I think I'm going to go ahead and update your grade because I think we're going to struggle with this build thing with you being on a Mac. So we're back to that. Your art assets, we have textures, lighting, the room. Yep. You've got all of that. Yes. Yes.
Thank you. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
I know that's why I'm in school, is to learn and mess up. But
no, that's exactly right.
That's
exactly why you're in school.
It's one of those things like oh gosh.
No, you're fine. I'm gonna give you 3 on the affordances because you do have affordances. They're a little abstract. Characters and knowledge also. It's there, but you need to communicate some stuff to me still. So it's 15 out of 20 at the moment. But when you start working on resolving those issues, and then you're going to be thinking about triggers now, right? It's another tool. You can just resubmit at that point, and I'll update your grade.
Okay.
Okay. Nice job.
Thank you.
Nice job. I like it. I like it. Get weird with it. Yeah.
Thank you for your time.
No problem. It's what I'm here for.
Yeah.
Why they pay me the little bucks.
Yeah. Perfect.
Okay. All right. Anything else you need?
No, I was going to say, I sent you an email on Canvas being like, I don't know what I'm doing. I feel dumb. Can we meet later? But then I ended up just asking you on Zoom. And
okay.
So just ignore my next email. I mean, you can still totally read it, but like you don't have to.
Okay. Well, don't feel dumb.
Well,
you're learning.
Yeah, it's okay.
Fine. And I found in this last sprint, especially, you are not alone with the struggle. People are struggling with figuring out builds and packages. They're struggling with piecing all of these things together, and you're doing fine. You're doing fine. Okay. And this is not exactly easy, unintuitive work to go into. We're starting to think of all these abstract things that make people go and do things. And then I'm asking you to put it in an application. And for your first attempt at this, it's going to be wonky and it's going to be rocky. So you're doing fine.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, I won't quit games forever.
No, you don't have to. But I mean, even if you don't go into games, having this like knowledge base really helps you think about these things in tech and how we maneuver through other places as well. Like video games is not the only place that this happens.
Right.
Architectural renderings, interior design, anytime you experience a space, this is happening.
Yeah, for sure. Like I'm definitely taking the game classes because I want to understand, like, I want to do 3D, but I kind of have to understand how things will actually implement into a game to even make a model. And I don't know, I've had the intention to go through the 3D track and the game track as well,
Yeah.
but I've just been like, oh, I'm failing at this. Like, should I even bother with the 3D?
You're not failing at this. Nope. You're not failing at this. You're not.
Thank you. So,
Go.
I don't know. I'm just going to spend all my time at Bellevue College forever, just doing all the classes.
Me too.
Because like somehow I'm signing myself up for doing the 2D track as well. And I'm just going to do all the certificates apparently.
Okay. We're into this.
Yeah.
We're excited to show you. It's just going to make you a better artist.
Well, hopefully. Alrighty.
Yep.
Cool.
All right. So I will. What's that?
I'll let you go so you don't have to, hold up your evening.
Okay.
And thank you for your time.
No problem. Not a problem at all. It's what I'm here for. I'm glad we resolved this, and I'm glad that you came by today. And have a wonderful weekend. And if you get stuck for part 3, reach out to me.
I will.
That animation trigger is a little funky, so you get stuck, reach out, please.
All right. We'll enjoy our early weekend, hopefully.
Yeah, sure. I'll be working through it, but yeah.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye.